I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot.
Ooh, here we go. All right. Yo, what's up? I'm Griff, one half of the Holy Toasters. But that statement's gonna be different in a second. Anyway, this is the intro to this week's podcast number 2. Topic of this week is beach camp, and I'm super excited to share with you this week. It is a big day. Today's a huge day for us as toasters and just everything that's been going on. We are super excited to, kind of share with you where we're headed, but also bring the big news that we keep talking about. Like, there's big news coming, and, we don't bring it. And, I'd be confused if I was if you. I'd be like, well, I don't see any big news. But today's the day. Podcast number 2. Here we go. And it's going to be huge. So I will see you guys in a little bit. We're actually recording a podcast live this week. We're not going to be using Skype. I don't know if Ethan will be with us. He's not feeling great. So we're going to have some very special guests with us this week. Yeah. So it's going to be awesome. And there's going to be some pretty cool stuff that goes down. So I'm pretty excited, and I will see you guys then. Peace.
All right, like I said, next time I see you guys, I'd be somewhere else. And I'm at my friend's house, Caitlin and Jade, and big news arriving. So, like I said, prefaced in just a second ago, we have big news and we finally got it. So the last few weeks, and like I said in the update video, we've been struggling with finding time to do things. Me and Ethan are both super busy, and it's just kind of hard to put stuff out. Content's very hard to find when you're both very busy. And one of the things we thought was what if we bring on more toasters, more people to be a part of this? And here they are, Jade and Caitlin, and sadly, Devin could not be here, but we have him right here. They can't be with us today, but I got 2 of them here with me, and this is an awesome experience. I get to bring on 2 of my best friends to be a part of this with me. So you guys want to tell them a little bit about yourself? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Jade.
Okay, so I'm a junior.
Upcoming senior.
Sorry, and I go to Carnes.
Yes.
And
with
I go with Griff, and then I go to Providence Church with Ethan, and all of them.
All
actually.
of us. Yes, we all go to Providence.
What else should I say?
I mean, a little bit about your testimony. A little bit, anything?
Okay, so I'm not originally from Tennessee.
Yes.
I was born in Florida.
Yes.
And growing up, I moved a lot because my dad's job just required us to move. And so I had to get used to change. And that kind of sucked, growing up. So I just learned that change is inevitable and that God uses everything for His glory, including things like I didn't want to move from Texas to Tennessee as a 5th grader. That really rocked me and my faith, and that's definitely part of my testimony because I wouldn't be a part of this church and these people and have this community without moving.
Yeah.
So I think that's glory to God. I mean, that's amazing.
Exactly. And I think that's one way we relate on a very big level because me and her both moved from Texas, so that's a big that's a big step that I think we both had to take, and I think that's super cool. So how about you?
Hey guys, so I'm Caitlin. I'm a freshman, going to be a freshman in college at Bryan College. Actually, very similar to them, I also moved, going into my 6th grade year from California, so also kind of a big move. I guess a big part of my, not necessarily testimony, but kind of just looking forward to how God's working in my life. I've got a big heart for mission, so that's kind of just kind of what I look at everything through.
Yes.
What else?
I mean, hey, that's cool. I mean, big heart for mission, and that's something that I've always kind of admired about you is that, going out on mission is something that's hard to do. And we launched, 2 or 3 this last week. We have one in England. We have one in Ecuador. Kurt just went to Ecuador. He left yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. So I think the coolest thing is that different relationships have been made over time. And Devin, who can't be here with us today, we will tell you. We'll let him introduce himself next time. But he gave his life over to Christ at beach camp, and that was one of the coolest things to be a part of. Just to see a guy I consider my family, really kind of give his life over. So that's really cool. And personally, these two have played a big impact in my life. I met Jade when I moved here in 8th grade, and we've been good friends ever since. And just having each other in school, especially in high school, has been a big deal. And I haven't known Caitlin for as long, but I know that she's always somebody I can fall back onto. She's going to be there regardless. So these two are people that I've always wanted to do something like this with, and it's super awesome that I get to be a part of this. So this is something that I wanted to do with these two that I thought about earlier today, and so here we are. These two, you don't know them very well. They haven't written much. They haven't done a podcast. They haven't done a vlog or anything like that. So this is the first time you're getting to see these people, and I want you guys to be able to get to know them better on the very first time of them being on here. So,
Yay!
You guys can pick who goes first, but I'm gonna shoot some rapid fire questions at them, and they're gonna hit me with an answer. And then at the end, if they want to go back and explain some of them, they can. But you guys can pick who goes first. Rock, paper, scissors. I don't even care.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, really. Got it. Okay, who's going first? Caitlin or you going
Yes,
first?
Caitlin
Okay.
goes first.
All right, Caitlin. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Rapid fire. Who is your hero?
Jim Elliott.
Okay. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
Not sure, somewhere overseas.
Okay, somewhere overseas. What's your biggest fear?
I have no idea. I have
No
to think
idea.
about
Okay.
that.
What makes you really
Dead
angry?
bugs.
Dead bugs? What makes,
Yes, dead bugs.
what makes you really angry?
The sound of chalk.
The
Oh,
sound of chalk? Oh my gosh. What makes you laugh the most?
My friends.
Okay. What would you sing at karaoke night?
Something from Tangled.
Something from Tangled. Gotcha. Okay, we got Rapunzel over here. What would you rather do? Wash dishes, mow the lawn, clean the bathroom, or vacuum the house?
Wash dishes.
Wash dishes. Okay. Do you like or dislike surprises?
Like.
You like surprises.
As long as I don't know there's a surprise beforehand.
Oh, okay, got you. Who would you like to be stranded on a desert island with?
Jade.
If you could take 3 things to a stranded desert island with you, what would it be?
Water.
Water,
A boat.
a boat,
And my Bible.
and your Bible. Got you. All right, one more.
I should have picked something like not like that.
Last one. What's your favorite zoo animal?
Zoo animal? Koala bear.
Koala bear. Okay,
Is that
got
a
it.
zoo?
I don't know. I thought so. Maybe
Yeah,
an
they're
elephant.
probably in the zoo.
Elephant. I'll say elephant then.
Okay, I'm confused about the dead bugs.
Okay, honestly. Okay, Jason, I cannot stand dead bugs. I will take on a snake, a spider, any type of bug. Will not bother me. Jade was there. I picked up a wasp and
She
brought it
literally
outside.
picked up a wasp
It doesn't bother me.
from
Like a
like
fly?
the window. Yes.
And
No, she, like,
don't
picked
get
it
near me
up.
with a dead bug. It creeps me out. Like I don't care.
And then she killed
I
it.
literally can't think of fear. Like not scared of heights. Not scared of anything. Don't get near me with a dead bug. Like literally worst fear.
I know how
That's
to scare
not
you
even
from
like
that one.
a joke one.
I know how to scare you from that
I
one.
hate dead bugs.
All right,
Oh dang.
that was kind of funny. You just said dead bugs, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Dead bugs
Pause and
gross
take
me
a
out so
moment.
much. Like I will yell across the house for my mom to come pick up a dead bug.
All right. So, I don't know if we'll use the same ones for you.
I'm
but-
nervous, Billy!
All right,
You use the same ones. I'm
I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Wait, you can change it up. I'm ready.
I'm gonna change a few of them. I'm gonna keep some of the same ones.
Can you change a hero one? I don't know.
You don't know your biggest hero?
No, I don't have a
Okay.
hero. I feel like they're too close to idols, and I don't like.
Yeah, I feel that. Okay. Are you ready? Miss Alma,
No, I'm okay. Go.
are you ready? Are you sure you're ready?
Yes, I'm gonna go.
Okay, if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
El Salvador with my family.
What's your biggest fear?
Probably I'm claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic. What makes you really angry?
Oh, hypocrites. Hate hypocrites.
Okay, all right. What makes you laugh the most?
Old people. Old people, hands down. I love old people. Look at go. Oh my god.
What was your biggest accomplishment as a kid?
I made it to 2nd grade.
You made it to.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather trade intelligence for looks or looks for intelligence?
Intelligence.
You'd rather have intelligence?
Yes.
All right. What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Christmas. What was the last book you read?
Redeeming Love.
Are you a clean or messy person?
Clean.
What kitchen appliance do you use every day?
Fork.
Favorite fast food appliance?
I'm not kitchen man.
A fork.
Not kitchen appliance.
What's your favorite fast food chain?
Tropical smoothie.
Tropical smoothie.
Yeah, it's fast food.
All right. What are 3 items you take with you on a deserted island?
Water.
Mhm.
I'd probably take a boat too.
A boat.
And then probably some sort of communication.
Some sort of communication.
Like my phone or something.
Okay. And last one. I don't even have to ask you this one. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert.
I'm definitely an extrovert. No, I'm an introvert.
I gotta ask you that one too. Are you an
Alright.
introvert or extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
Extrovert. I figured. So, yeah. So, I just wanted you to, have these experiences with these people because they're new, and it's good. It's good to hear
Yeah.
these things. You're new.
I can't believe you did that to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
First day on the job.
Yeah, thanks. So, just it's good to be able to hear from these guys. Just being able to hear some cool stuff about them, and there'll be more stuff later on. Because have you guys started writing anything yet or anything? No. Yes. No. It's not either way. But just being able to get personal and being able to hear stuff about it. Those are just kind of like some small questions. Exactly. That she wasn't ready for, and now she's mad at me. But it's okay.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad.
I'm mad now.
Does it make what else makes you mad? What else makes you mad?
Hypocrites.
Hypocrites. Yeah, I can't use words. Sorry, I woke up early today. So yeah. Okay, shut up. All right.
So your brain doesn't work now because you woke up early?
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
It's 3 o'clock.
All right, listen. I don't want to hear anything from either of you. All right. So yeah. So this week's podcast, I wanted to kind of address something pretty exciting that we all got to be a part of. Beach camp. We all went down to Myrtle Beach and had an amazing week, just kind of being in community all week, and it was amazing. So I have a few questions I want to ask you guys about your initial thoughts of beach camp and stuff like that, and we'll go from there. So first off, I want to know what your guys' favorite part of beach camp was. Like, it can be a spiritual sense, or like it could be just a fun thing that you experienced while you were there. Favorite part of beach camp, go.
Okay, I'll go first.
You can go first. Go for it.
Okay, sorry. I'll go first. Okay, so my favorite part was just the community.
Yeah.
I loved growing with
Yeah.
other people and like sharing that love for God.
Mm-hmm.
Really just put me back on track because I felt like before I went to beach camp, I was so plagued by anxieties. And because honestly, like I've been to beach camps for years and lake camps for years, which is our middle schoolers, by the way. And but each year I get so plagued by anxiety.
Yeah.
But my friends really have helped me and pointed me back to God because that's who I can find comfort in. And so yeah, that community was just what I needed.
Yeah. Miss Ray?
So for me, it's actually very similar. Definitely community. So I'm kind of newer to Providence. I've been going for about a year, but like I've connected with people, but not like on a super deep basis.
Yeah.
Actually, I had not talked to Jade at all until beach camp, and now we're like best friends. We've hung out like 3 times this week, and we're spending the night tonight. Like literally best friends. And like me and Griff have been friends, but I didn't really talk to you that much honestly at all.
Mm-mm.
And so for me, like just building this community, especially like these group of people and just everybody that I can just know that I can just be real with and really just point to Christ and everything.
Yeah.
I really love that, just being able to connect with these people and have them push me.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me about beach camp was this idea of like intentional relationships, because we can go and we can, we can talk to people at church, but outside of church, you have these people that you just don't talk to, and for me, it was this idea of I want to go in and I want to find these people, because I have my people, they're sitting with me, but I want to find people that I don't know as well, that I can really build these intentional relationships with. And it was an awesome week to really be able to feel that, because there was not only our church, Providence, but there was 2 other churches that went with us. And I got to meet these people and build relationships with these people. And, I live an hour away from some of them, and we still talk to each other on an everyday basis and are really there for each other. And that's something that's so cool to me. So I think that was probably my biggest takeaway from beach camp. It's so cool to see a week like that where you get to be in constant, relationship with people all week.
Yeah, you're just surrounded by people who love
Exactly.
God and share that.
Exactly. And one way that my small group leader described it, and you guys can hit on this if you want, he called it a little glimpse of heaven, because, there's this idea that we're together all the time. We're in God's word constantly. That's what it's about. We're there for him the entire week. And and he called it like a glimpse of heaven. So what do you guys think about that, almost?
So I think that is so true, because that's exactly what we were designed to do.
Exactly.
And in heaven, that's what we're going to do.
Exactly.
We're always going to be intentionally with God, in relation with him, praising him, worshiping him, not just through praising and singing, but also through just glorifying him in fruitful relationships and just the way that we act.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved being actively in his word all the time.
Yeah. What you think?
I think that's so true. I think for me, it definitely was a glimpse of heaven, but I think also just giving us that kingdom mindset of, for me it was kind of a redirection. So even if I'm focused on it, just really being okay, this is our goal, this is what we're striving towards, and we're not just kind of doing it and going through the motions. We're full force sprinting towards it, 24/7, and really just having that kingdom mindset and being these are my people. Okay, now let's together go and run on mission.
Exactly.
And reach others, and then continue in that trajectory.
Exactly. I think that's super cool. So it was a really good week for us, and just to kind of see where God took everybody, and just to kind of see where we ended up at the end of the week. And we kind of described it as, recharging a battery, is one way we've kind of described it, as our light isn't out, but you get drained. And I know specifically for me, I'm not there to church all the time, so I'm not getting consistently poured into. So it's kind of hard for me to be pouring out to people if I'm not being poured into. So having a week like that, it makes you feel like you're overflowing. So I think that was super cool. So you guys got anything else about beach camp? Because I got a few more questions to ask you guys.
Go ahead with the questions.
Okay, I got you. Okay, so we do this every week. We've planned this out. I want to know your guys this week. What is one way that God is moving in your life this week? What is one way?
So I think for me, one way God's been moving is just I feel this week He's just been constantly just opening doors for me. So I know that there's been a lot of times, where you just feel you're in that waiting period of, I'm just going to keep pursuing and just wait and wait and wait and just wait for Him to open those doors. And you're kind of just waiting. I read something today. It was a quote by Jim Elliott that I really loved. It was, I'm stationed here and I'm just waiting for the cloud to move, kind of reference to the Old Testament when the Israelites were following around the cloud. Okay. And I feel for me, my pillar of smoke is definitely moving now, and I'm super excited just because as I am going into college and opening that new chapter, I feel there's a lot of new doors being opened for me, just in a lot of different ways, and I think it's really cool to just see how God is moving in that.
Yeah, facts.
Okay, so God has been moving this week in me just with my mindset, I think, just realizing that I have purpose here, and that yes, I'll get to go to heaven and experience true joy there, but I can have joy in my circumstances because the joy from the Lord is my strength.
Yeah,
and that is different than happiness. Happiness is fleeting. Happiness is just it's, I don't know how to describe it.
Well,
it's
one way that that was, we talked about that last week, me and Ethan did. That was kind of my big takeaway from my last week was happiness is short term, joy is long term.
Yes,
and that the things in this world that make us happy are temporary. But what we really are striving for is to preserve joy. and that was a big thing. And I used a Lecrae song to kind of describe that last week. If you want to go watch last week's podcast, so I think that's definitely a big thing, and I definitely feel that.
I think it's. Oops, sorry.
Go for it.
I think it's also really cool how like, especially in like kind of what you're saying, like the difference, like you cannot be happy but still have joy. Like even in a situation where you shouldn't be happy, you can still just have that foundation of joy in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So like kind of the difference of like it's not an emotion, it's kind of just like an anchor.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, and like you shouldn't be happy by the world standards.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can find joy if you just fix your mindset on the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like that's just the difference between worldly people and us.
Exactly.
Believers.
Exactly. I feel that. So I think for me the biggest thing this week is just it's kind of been a work in progress for me, playing off of kind of what I talked about last week of like really turning to God for decisions. And this week was really cool because I've really been struggling with like how do I turn to God in those kind of situations where I need guidance, or does he make decisions for me and all this kind of stuff. And I'm struggling with this, and me and Ethan talked about this last week, and we go to church on Wednesday night and Kurt hits it right on the head. He talked exactly about what I'm going through, and it was crazy because it was like it was almost perfectly planted, and I was like, I got it and I understood it. And then I'm still trying to like put it together in my head, and we get to Sunday and Chad hits it right on the head again. And it was like, this is like, it's like he knows. God knows exactly what I'm struggling with, and he put it there for a reason. And I think that was so cool to see. Like now I have this complete understanding of what God's plan is for my life, because that was the question that Chad begged on Sunday. He asked he went through a passage in Acts, and he was talking about the big question of what's God's plan for my life. This whole idea of there's a specific plan that God has for me, but I think he really broke it down well into some kind of categories that made it a lot more understandable. So that was definitely a big thing for me this week. So yeah. And I wish Ethan could be here because I know he had something good to say this week. But I might try and catch him later. Maybe get like a second half of this. Hopefully, that would be kind of cool to get him for the second half. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Devin just couldn't make it today, which kind of sucks. But now that these two are here, it's awesome. And I know for a fact that these three are not the only three. There will be more, and it's just so cool to see how we talked about the origin of the Holy Toasters last week and where it came from, and just to see where we've come from, where we started to where we are now. And we might not be big, we might not have numbers, but the fact that you can see God moving through this is phenomenal, and that's so cool to me. That's kind of all I got right now. Do you guys got anything else? You guys got any other kind of praises this week? Anything going great?
I mean, I'm just thankful that I have the opportunity to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Just want to address that because I really don't. This is really out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I'm not one to go in front of people and just be like, hey, yeah, you know about the gospel? Like,
yeah,
what?
Exactly.
Which is something I admire in both of these two, because they're just they just love God, and they're gonna completely go out there and speak that and speak truth and reach those people that are unreached.
Yeah.
But I tend to turn down opportunities like this out of my own fear. But this is awesome, and I'm really thankful that God is going to use me in this way because God has gifted me with the fact that I can speak and that I can think properly. So I'm going to use that to glorify Him. I may not be the best speaker in the world or whatever, but and I may be young, but it doesn't mean I can't impact the kingdom today, right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Cam?
No, I'm also like super pumped about this though, just because, especially like with the blog and this, like I think it's really cool just to be able to share our thoughts and stuff, and like have a platform to be able to do that. Kind of like Jade was saying, it gives us opportunities as well.
Yes.
and then also pushes us outside of our comfort zone next
Yes.
time, so we can just keep expanding our comfort zone
Yes.
and get more opportunities.
Exactly.
Yay!
Exactly.
This is kind of what we were talking about the other day, but
Exactly. So I have another half of this that I didn't tell you guys about that we're gonna record in just a second. That's gonna be super fun, and you guys are gonna hate me for it. But
I'm really nervous.
that'll be put in the beginning. But
I feel like we're gonna do something really stupid.
so I'm Griff. This is Jay. This is Caitlin. This is Devin. And we're the Holy Toasters. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.